It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's our goal. Hey, it's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's also a show. Hey.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa. I am Tom Papa. Our guest today is Jay Larson, very funny comedian who has a special called Call Me Bruce that is out on YouTube right now. He's very funny. We've been in each other's orbit for a long time, and it was great to finally sit down and talk with him. His stories are amazing. He's very funny. You're going to love this interview with Jay Larson. Today's podcast is brought to you by two sponsors. The first one is, oh wow, we've never had a book sponsor before. We're all in this together, so make some room. The new book by Tom Papa. What a coincidence. That's amazing. Yes, my new book is out. It's been out now for 1 week. Count it, 1 week. Thank you all for taking pictures and sending posts of you with the book. It's very exciting that it's out. I've been traveling all around. I think I was in the air more than I was on the ground last week, going to Chicago and New York and LA and Austin, all these places, talking about the book, signing books for people. It's been a great time, a lot of fun. I'm so happy that it's out. I'm very proud of it. And you can get one for Father's Day. That's always a good thing because, you know, if your father kind of likes you and then you give him this book, then he really likes you, and then he makes you the main person in his will, and then cut out your siblings because they're probably not going to get him the book. So get him the book. Wherever books are sold, we're all in this together, so make some room. Local booksellers, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you get that stuff. Our other sponsor today, is the good people at Nuts.com. I love Nuts.com. I have a drawer in my kitchen that is in the island where I do all of the cooking, and it's there. And you slide that open, and there are right now there are nuts, there are dried apricots, and this is kind of insane, chocolate-covered gummy bears. Those things are deadly. So whether you're somewhere on the go or need a quick snack to grab on the way out, or someone who spends time at home and needs stocked snack drawer, just like I said, Nuts.com has you covered. Nuts.com is offering new customers a free gift with purchase and free shipping on all orders of $29 or more at nuts.com/papa. So go check out all the delicious options at nuts.com/papa. You'll receive a free gift and free shipping when you spend $29 or more. That's nuts.com/papa. Dun 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 dun. So big day today. Big day. I'm recording, this is coming out tomorrow. We're recording today. And today is June 12th, which is my comedy birthday. June 12th, 1993 was the first day that I stepped on stage at the New York Comedy Club in New York City. I went on, and then the great Greg Giraldo went on. We were the only two comics to go up, and our friend Gary was the host. And I came in, I met Greg Giraldo, we hit it off, we were pals, and there was 5 people in the audience, maybe 6, 4 were my friends, and I did my first spot. And that means, dear listeners, that it's 30 years of stand-up comedy, which means, Joey, I've been a comedian longer than I've not been a comedian on this planet. How insane is that? I hear a dog. Yeah, close that door. You just lean over and do it. We're casual. I don't know why there's a dog. We're in our main bread headquarters. I have a sense that there's some other podcasts down the hall, and they look like I I don't know what the podcast possibly could be, but they look a little LA, I would say. A little maybe fashion forward, maybe gossip, maybe some hot Hollywood gossip. You get that vibe?
I get that vibe.
Yeah. Do you know what they are? Don't say if you do. Mm-hmm. You do? Am I accurate in that assessment?
Yeah.
Close?
Yeah.
Why are you saying it like that?
I don't really know who they are. I've just looked them up once.
You did?
But,
Yeah. And then you forgot?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what they haven't been doing. Comedy for 30 years. So thank you all for listening. This is a very special day for me. And it just, I've had lots of comedy, but 30 years is kind of profound and nutty. And I don't know what to think about it. Other than the coolest thing, I think, is that I've got no other options now. I can't switch now. I guess I could downshift. I could just go bake bread and just open a small bake shop in some strange place. I was thinking I could do that in the Jersey Shore, but then Hurricane Sandy hit. I was like, I don't know if that's a good long-term plan. Then I looked up global warming, and they said upstate New York, you're safe from all of the stuff. And then we found out last week that that wasn't true because Canada was on fire and choking out New York. And so I think I'm just going to stick at the comedy. Keep moving. I'm never really in one place. Like I said, I was in the air more than I was on the ground last week. So today is going to be a great show. I made a huge meal last night. Side note, I have 11 people in my house right now because of my daughter's graduation. And they all came in from all different places. So last night I made a huge meal. What was on the meal? I'll tell you, Joey. It was meatballs, homemade meatballs. I used the Rayos recipe. Baked rigatoni, garlic bread, broccoli, and sauce from scratch. It was really good. The only bummer was I didn't make a ciambella, but I just gotten back off the road after this insane week. But I was very happy to have the whole family there. Went through maybe 4 bottles of wine. This is all to say, if my doctor's listening, I'm coming for my physical, first one since the pandemic, next week. So if I'm a little heavier, you know why. I've got too many Italians in my house right now. So I'm going to be a little on the chubby side. Just go with it. Okay, we've got a great show for you today. Jay Larson, let's get to the interview. Enjoy. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We've been trying to put this together for, I think, a year and a half.
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years.
For real?
No.
It seems close. It seems like it.
Well, I can't,
Well, because first it went through extra people, and then suggestions. It felt like dating in grade school. It's like, I hear Jay likes you.
Where was your grade school?
Mine was in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Started off at Eastbrook, and then I moved to Dorchester, and then graduated up to Woodcliff School, and then went up to the big high school. How about you?
I went to Robin Hood Elementary.
All the way through?
Stoneham, Mass. No, and then middle school and then high school. Where I grew up, you just went to
school.
Middle school.
That was the name?
It's called the middle school. That's it. Like everyone from the elementary went to the middle school, and then you went to the high school. There was no name.
Oh.
It was Stoneham High School, Stoneham Middle School.
Stoneham.
From
the days when they used to do that?
Do what?
Stone people?
Yeah.
To death for
they still
adultery?
do. They keep it real in my town. You know who's from my town? Nancy Kerrigan.
Nancy Kerrigan?
Mm-hmm.
That seems Stoneham-ish.
Yeah. She's very Stoneham-ish.
I baked you this bread. It's so beautiful and crunchy that it's actually breaking through the paper.
No.
Yeah.
I saw you this morning on social. Is this what you were making?
That was your bread.
Holy shit.
That was your bread.
Should we compare it to the bread
I made that shaped it last night. That's when I recorded that. Which was a mistake, by the way, Joey, when I said that my book comes out a week from today.
Oh, God, that
smells really good. A week from yesterday.
Should we compare it to the bread that I made you?
Yeah, I saw you rolled in with bread as well. The first person ever to come with bread.
God damn.
Yeah. That's for you, Big Daddy.
I'm going to eat the hell out of that. All right, so you're going to have to give me pointers because I make this bread.
You do.
But for some reason, the last couple times I've made it, it doesn't rise.
How long have you been making it? Years?
10 years.
Oh, wow.
But it doesn't rise, but it's still delicious.
So
This is a bread bag. You ever seen a bread
yeah, I
bag?
have those bread bags. Well, not that exact one.
But I made 2 of these, and I tried one, and it was really delicious.
Is it a cookie?
It looks, doesn't it? It looks like a chocolate chip.
It looks like a giant. It's a bit of. It's focaccia-ish.
Yeah.
It should be focaccia. Is that what you're going for?
No.
Focaccia in a pan?
Focaccia in a pan. Yeah.
It looks like, because they do make focaccia in like a iron skillet.
Oh, do they? Yeah.
And
No.
it comes out round, but 10 times as fluffy.
You know what someone said to me? They're like, dude, that's pretty bold making bread to go to like a master. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the whole point. Because I thought it would come out better.
Smells good. Rosemary, olive oil.
That olive oil, by the way, is my friend's olive oil from Greece. They harvest
Whoa.
it and make it themselves.
Beautiful.
What's going on with my yeast? Why
what
is it
went
not?
on?
Well, I put the yeast with some sugar in the water
Yeah.
to get it activated.
Is it old?
No, I just went to the store and bought it.
And
but
it
it's,
activated?
I mean, maybe the water was too warm.
Nah. How long did you let it?
6 minutes,
How long did you let it rise once you mixed it?
an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
You're about 12 hours short.
Wait, that's the recipe says you just leave it for an hour.
No.
Hmm.
Have you made it before?
Yeah. Made it for years.
And with 1 hour of
Yeah.
rising time?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you mean so when you mix it with all the
You got
ingredients?
it. The thing about focaccia,
This isn't a focaccia.
what is it?
It's supposed to just be a rosemary bread, like a little loaf.
Oh, so it's even worse than
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yes, but listen to me. It's the thought. You know what I mean? This
It's
is
totally the thought. Joey, I don't think anyone else has even tried to bring us bread from their own home, let alone a store.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is really very meaningful.
I mean, do you dare try it?
When I went to, I'm gaining up the courage.
It literally looks. You look like one of my kids when I'm like, you just gotta try a new food. I just want you to take one bite, and you're just like. My son just goes, "No, thank you, Dad. No, thank you."
That's really clever. Yeah, my daughter's like, "What's that?"
That's
What's
that's
that on
sea
it?
salt. My neighbors brought me from France when I watched their dog when they went to Paris. That's real, and the rosemary's from my garden.
It's so funny because it looks like a cookie that
It
my wife
literally
literally
does.
just made. She just made cookies that looks exactly just a little bigger.
So you do the savory, and she does the sweet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm not she does sweet better than I do. She's been busy. She hasn't been doing it. I've gotten her to bake more by starting to infiltrate on her territory. Cuz, wives, as much as they adore you, also get a little sick of all the attention you get for your different pursuits, whether they're valuable for the family or not. Which I get, what do you think? This guy's so great? And so I get a lot of, notoriety from the bread.
Yeah.
And then I started doing bagels. Then I kind of poked into pretzels. And then did a ciambella, which is getting into sweet. It's like this Italian breakfast ring, lemon
Oh, yeah.
breakfast ring.
I know what you're talking
Not too
about.
sweet, but
You kind of pull off of it.
yeah, it's great. And then I know that my one daughter who bakes also and vegan, so there are no cookies being cranked out. So I made cookies a couple weeks ago.
What kind?
Just like the sad little boy whose parents wouldn't give him cookies. He was left to his own devices to make them on his own.
Yeah.
And I made them, and they were pretty good. They were just chocolate chip cookies off of New York Times, and they were a little dense.
You go heavy on
They
the
were
chocolate
great,
chips?
But I knew I had my wife on the hook, and I knew this plan was going to work because she criticized them right off the bat. No, and I didn't have any real pride attached. I didn't care if they came
No,
out.
you didn't
I just
care.
wanted to poke the bear
Mm-hmm.
and get her back in the kitchen. I came back last weekend, whole array of chocolate chip cookies.
Ooh.
Some of you with walnuts.
You did it.
I did it.
You know what I made on Cinco de Mayo? I made churros.
Oh,
Straight up.
really?
Boom. Knocked them out. They were great.
They were
Yeah. I mean, not as good as this.
deep fried.
Yeah, deep fried. Cinnamon and sugar.
Let's take that bread out for a second.
To what? Compare them?
Yeah, just to. I think.
Is that look? I mean,
I just want to see.
It seems a little spiteful.
No.
It seems.
We might be surprised. I don't know what it's what the result's gonna be.
What do you mean, taste test
No,
or
look-wise.
looks? Yeah.
I don't know.
Can anyone see that? I mean, let's look at the density.
Hold on, I have to take that picture.
I mean,
It's
come
so
on,
funny.
it's not terrible. You're gonna be surprised. You're gonna be surprised.
This is like when I went to Bert Kreischer's and he made quesadillas. They were slightly thicker than this.
That looks like a. Did you ever
Not
go?
quesadillas, tortillas.
That's good taste. Have you ever been to Casablanca in Venice?
No.
They do these amazing tortillas, and they're super soft and chewy. And then they do like a salsa verde, but with like chunks of cheese in it and onions
Oh my
instead
God.
of like a salsa.
Wow.
Anyway.
That would be perfect on this.
Yeah. Either way, again,
Look, if you have salt, olive oil, and rosemary,
you can't go wrong.
you can't go wrong. This is just a device to deliver those sweet little gems.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't call it bread.
Well, you could
You could.
unleaven.
Yeah, matzah.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, you can put that back in the bag.
Okay.
So, thank you, though. It is the gesture.
Yeah.
We've only had a couple people that brought things. Kathleen Madigan. Don't hide it in disgust. Kathleen Madigan came and she brought her own redneck style of like a biscuit mix in the packet and a cornbread mix in the packet. And I think she gave me some booze or something. And like and a t-shirt for her podcast. That was nice. We also had someone else brought donuts.
I love a good donut.
Yeah, a nice donut. Did you grow up here? You grew up back east.
So
When did you get here?
I got here in 2000,
2000. Oh, it's around when I came.
but my grandfather was a baker. So I grew up on his donuts, which were the greatest. His honey dip donut was the best.
Really?
Yeah, which is like his glazed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had a bake shop?
He had 2 bakeries, yeah.
2 bakeries?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So like we'd grow up and like you'd run in the bakery, go in the front, run around the back. He had the giant table, and we'd go to the coffee can with the M&Ms. So like we just run around there to get to that. It was
Oh
the
my
best.
God.
Yeah.
What a dream.
And then this is a story I wanted to tell you. I was opening for Swartzen back east, and at the time he had a deal at Sony, and he was like gonna write a show about a kid and that inherits a bakery from his grandmother, and he and his best friend take over the bakery. And I was like, oh, my grandfather used to own a bakery in Wakefield. Let's just go by. So we went to the bakery. It was like the 3rd bakery since my grandfather's. Had been like at least 14 years, 15 years since my grandfather owned it. We walked in. It was like all decrepit. I was like, hey, guys. And they're like, hey. I'm like, listen, my grandfather used to own this bakery. I was wondering if we might be able to like look around. And they were like, what was your grandfather's bakery? And I go, the Holiday Bakery. And the guy goes, we've been waiting for you. And goes over and between like a freezer and the wall pulled out the original sign
No.
to my grandfather's bakery. Yeah. So I brought it back here and then I built a light box
Wow.
for it. And I have it in my garage now.
That's amazing.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Holiday Bakery.
It had fallen apart by the time you walked
Yeah.
in?
At that time, it was a gluten-free bakery. Like the first of its kind, and just didn't catch on. Now it's like a pet grooming place.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know.
Do you remember how old were you when he stopped?
He stopped when I was like 8, maybe younger. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He should have kept it going. He could have been the hero for a longer time.
I mean, it would have been amazing, but he had to sell it. My dad, he was separated from our family, and my dad wasn't going to continue with it anymore. He just wanted to be an antique dealer. He didn't give a shit about baking.
Oh, okay.
And so he had nowhere to go with it. And so he had to sell them both.
It's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
It's a ton of work. Those people work hard.
Yeah. And then years later, the other bakery I had was in Essex, Massachusetts. And there's like a very famous clam spot, belly clams, called Woodman's in Essex, Massachusetts. Like everyone goes to Woodman's. So
Right.
I'm up there with my family one time, like 8 years ago. No. Yeah, maybe 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the parking lot and I see these two guys shucking corn, like into like a trash barrel. And I say to my wife at the time, I go, I got to go over there. So I go over, I go, guys, would you just shucking corn out here in the parking lot? And they're like, yeah. And I go, can I get a pick? And they're like, sure. And they were like, you don't want to help out? I go, nah. And they go, what's your name? And I go, I'm Jay. And this guy introduced, you know, like how gentlemen introduce first and last name.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, Jay. And they're like, so-and-so and so-and-so. And then like Frank Woodman.
Uh-huh.
And I go, oh, is this your spot? He goes, yeah, it was my grandfather's spot. And I'm like, oh, my grandfather used to have a bakery down the road. And he goes, my grandfather had a tiny shack down the road. And I'm like, oh, great to meet you guys. And then the other guy goes, your grandfather, he worked on the atom bomb, didn't he? And I was like, yeah, how'd you know? And he goes, we know things around here too. And I was just like, oh my God, I left. Because my grandfather was a physicist at Harvard, like studying.
Right.
Went and worked at Los Alamos on the atom bomb.
No.
Came back and was like, I'm not doing that.
Whoa.
And his like grandfather was a baker and he just like opened a bakery.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy cow. So he worked on that?
Yeah. I have pictures, Polaroids of the atom bomb.
No.
Not the explosion, but like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
together.
two men holding it, like this giant metal sphere, then like the little octagons being put around it, you know, like
Like a Weber grill.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like a little
yeah.
smoker.
Yeah. But like when you're seeing the ads for Oppenheimer right now,
Yeah.
like that's my grandfather worked under Oppenheimer when he was there.
Jeez.
Like they'd open his mail when he get mail and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Yeah.
Were you close to him when you were older or did he pass?
He passed when I was like 10
Ah.
or 11, yeah.
So he closed the bakery and died.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jeez.
Pretty close there.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Did he get sick from atom bomb stuff?
He died of cancer, skin cancer,
did.
yeah. But he would also like, I'm guessing that's where he got it, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Seems like
Not
a safe
lot of
bet.
sun in
He's
Stoner,
measuring
Mass.
well, he had a house on the beach,
Right.
you know, and he'd be out there. But,
yeah, but still, that's pretty. Man, it'd be so interesting to
Oh my
hear from him,
God.
like what he was thinking, what after it happened. I mean, obviously, if he ends up in a bake shop, had to have been somewhat shaken.
Yeah, they had one story. He got this paperweight that they gave to there were like 11 main scientists at Los Alamos, and they made these paperweights for the first atomic testing with like a little plaque and then like a piece of petrified ground.
Right.
And one of the scientists, they just gave it to the head guys, gave it to my grandfather and said, you'll want this more than I'll ever want it.
Whoa.
And so my cousin has that. And I always wanted to go on like, what's that show on
eBay?
History Channel with
Oh,
Pawn Stars? I always wanted to go in there with the paperweight and have, or like with the photos and be like,
Yeah.
well, how's this authentic? And I go, look at that. And then drop the paperweight.
Drop the bomb.
They would love, yeah, drop the bomb, baby.
Wow, that's intense.
I know.
That is really intense. And then to think he's just like in the bake shop making cookies after that.
Making cookies,
Yeah.
listening to like, he would listen to like, who was that guy that did Lake Winna,
Like Wobegon,
Yeah.
Garrison Keillor.
Garrison Keillor. He would listen to
Yeah.
Garrison Keillor on the radio and like
Right.
was super into that kind of lifestyle.
Right. Just
Yeah.
slow it down.
Yep.
Get smaller.
That dude, you remember, do you ever have a paper route?
Yeah.
So my brother and sister had one. And when I was in 6th grade, they were both in the high school in the marching band. So on Thanksgiving Day, they had to do the marching band and I had to do their paper route. And on Thanksgiving, all the circulars would come out, right?
Right. Heavy.
Yeah, and it was so I go out to do their paper route, and I open the circulars, and then I forget something inside, and I go in, I come back out, and the wind had just blown them all over the place, and I was so dejected and like crying, and my grandfather showed up because he was leaving the bakery and he just got out of his car and just starts dying laughing, and I was like, "Shut up!" And then he's like, "Get in, I'll drive you." I think maybe I was in like 5th grade or 4th grade, I can't remember, but
So he drove you the route.
yeah, he drove me.
That's cool.
That was great.
Do you like cashews? Gummy bears? Maybe olives? What about popcorn? What about saltwater taffy or perhaps trail mix? Sesame sticks, dried fruit, chocolate-covered espresso beans, gummy bears dipped in chocolate. Whether you're someone on the go who needs a quick snack to grab on the way out, or someone who spends time at home and needs a stock snack drawer, Nuts.com has you covered. Nuts.com is your one-stop shop for freshly roasted nuts, dried fruits, sweets, pantry staples like specialty flours, and more. Just go to their website right now, Nuts.com, and just spend some delightful moments just looking at all your favorite things, because I know that they're on the site. And you just bundle them up, make one order, and they just appear. And you have them for a while. You know, these are items that you're going to be snacking on for a bit. And it's not the kind of stuff also when you're just in the supermarket and you're just grabbing something mindlessly. This is good quality stuff, and you have some time to like actually look at it, order it, and then you get this great stuff. We love Nuts.com. They offer plenty of gluten-free options, organic choices, and other diet-friendly products. So whether you're looking for something sweet, savory, or need to stock up on something for the pantry or everyday cooking essentials, you're bound to find something to try. Snack with satisfaction, knowing that quality is a top priority at Nuts.com. They roast their nuts, pop their corn the same day it ships, so they reach you deliciously fresh. Since 1929, they've been doing it the old-fashioned way. One taste, and you will know the difference. I really like it. Order it. It's just great. You really, when you also have some thought, you can be like, okay, I'm going to get maybe one bad thing if you're in that mode, or a bunch of bad things, that maybe are a little sugary for you. But then you stock up on all the healthy nuts and the stuff that you should be snacking on in between as you're doing your day. It just gives it a little more. Look, that's one of the things we say here. Just be thoughtful about what you're doing. We love going off the rails. We love eating, drinking, celebrating life. This is a way to plan it out and know that you have the right stuff in tow. Right now, Nuts.com is offering new customers a free gift with purchase and free shipping on orders of $29 or more at Nuts.com/Papa. So go to check out all the delicious options at Nuts.com/Papa. You'll receive a free gift and free shipping when you spend $29 or more. That's Nuts.com/Papa. Man, yeah, there is something so great of the fantasy of a bake shop. I have it in different locations. In one of my specials, I think in You're Doing Great, I was talking about the bagel shop at the beach. That's like that's my escape plan when it all goes south.
I'm still pursuing it.
Bagel shop at the beach, easy hours, like early, but then you're done at like 2. When the bagels are done, you're done.
Yeah.
Everyone loves them because they're kick-ass. I've thought of a bread shop here. Whenever it's like some business craps out that has any kind of parking, you're like, all right, in there, that's where it could go. I had another fantasy of this old antique shop was closing down. It was the old building. And I was like, in there, you could have a small bread bakery, coffee, and just books.
Oh, yeah.
And just let people hang all throughout it.
I wanted to have a restaurant in an antique store. I wanted an antique store, or take a restaurant, fill the whole thing with antiques, and everything is for sale. So you could be sitting there with your family eating, and I could say, hey, I really like that table. And they're like, yeah, take it. And you could buy it and like move them to another table, take the table out, and then replenish it.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
There's a limit to how small you can go, though, because people are going to steal from you.
Over there?
In your antique restaurant.
Well, people are going to steal anyway, right?
Yeah.
What do you think they're stealing? Cutlery?
They're probably taking the cutlery, or you'll probably have, like, in an antique thing, you'll probably have maybe some cute salt and pepper shakers, Mickey and Minnie, maybe some Winnie the Poohs, maybe some
or maybe
turn of the century stuff.
Yeah, my mother had blue glass salt and pepper shakers that were in silver, like a silver case, with a silver top. Mm-hmm. That's what my father did. He was an antique dealer when he left.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he probably stole all that stuff.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, he would put ads in the paper and then go empty people's garages for free. And then,
really?
because he had an eye. Like, he knew what everything was.
Wow.
I wrote a pilot about a couple that took over an antique store and got close with a couple people, but we didn't get it sold.
Really?
Yeah. Something old, something new. That was a great title.
That's
Get
a great
out of
title.
my face, Tom.
Well, you got to hang on to it. Come to Papa was a TV show. It was a pilot into a show and got canceled. And then it became a podcast. And now it's a live radio show that I do.
No way.
I'm still hanging on to it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Where's the live radio show?
I do it mostly at the Comedy Cellar in New York.
Yeah.
I did it here, there, in Largo for years.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's like it was inspired by Garrison Keillor.
I bet.
And Lake Wobegon. And then, because I always liked that idea, and I thought, but
I
it
love
tilted
it.
more towards music. I was like, what if it has music but tilts more towards comedy?
Mm-hmm.
So I created that show. And then, I know this isn't about me, but Prairie Home Companion, he retired, and Chris Thiele took over, and they hired me to do the spoken word for it. So I got
Amazing.
closer to Garrison.
Yeah.
And then one time he came into my show, because Erica Rhodes
Yeah.
is related to him.
Yeah, I know.
And she was opening for me, and he came to my show in New York and sent me a note
Oh,
about how great the show was.
that's great.
I was like, I floated around Manhattan on that
I
Sunday
bet.
afternoon.
Have you
Yeah.
done, what is it, live from here, or is it
And then that became live from here. When,
Yeah.
when Garrison got in trouble from these accusations, which in my opinion weren't all that valid.
Mm-hmm.
They sent him through the ringer. He got caught up in some people's ill intent,
Mm-hmm.
but during the Me Too time,
Yeah, for sure.
like
You
it was
mean-
the day of Matt Lauer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what happened, but they changed the name. They killed Prairie Home Companion, kept
Yeah.
the show intact, and changed the name, but then everyone wants to come see that brand.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
I did that one in Portland. Was that live from
You
here
did.
or live to talk? Or yeah, it was so
Live from here.
fun. I loved it.
yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know you did it.
Yeah, I love that. I just love that. I don't know. There's something so old school about that medium.
Yeah,
you know?
it's great. And Come to Papa definitely has that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work. It's like you
I
have
bet,
to
yeah.
really dial in. Like when I was doing Live from Here, I was just like in the shadow of Garrison, just trying to figure out how he did it. And I had to write these monologues called Out in America for every week.
Oh man.
So it was like 5 minutes, 4 minutes of stand up,
Mhm.
essentially, like an essay, but stand up. So I had to write it early in the week and then keep writing it all week long because I couldn't try it anywhere. I just had to go up on radio, on
Yeah.
national radio, and do it. But your comedian instinct, tells you it really helped like get a real ear for what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Mhm.
But
Better for
Garrison-
better or worse.
yeah. So the Garrison had done that for 30 years, almost every week, writing the Lake Wobegon. Plus, he was writing all of the scripts and all this other stuff and books.
Yeah.
The guy was a giant.
Yeah.
He's still a giant. But it really was like a real lesson in what it takes. Like I couldn't, during that time, because I was working on my books and stand-up, there was I didn't see one movie. I didn't see one thing on a plane. Anytime I was sitting in a chair, it was laptop open. Just write.
Yeah.
But it's valuable because, as you know, it's where everything comes.
I know. I just don't have that discipline. I'm a binge writer. Like
Yeah.
I binge write.
Uh-huh.
So like I sold a show and I was waiting for the deal to go through, and I was at the San Diego Laugh Factory, and I locked myself in a room and I wrote the script in a day. And I was like done in a day. Like, but I can't write every day. I'm just horrible at it. And I know
Yeah.
that some people can, but like I've sold 2 shows, written them both, and I swear I never once was like writing every day. I just write in heaps. Like,
Yeah.
You know?
Well, a real cool solve I had
Mm-hmm. Oh, please.
was just go sit in wherever you write.
Yep.
Pick whatever that place is, and you just have to go show up. This great Israeli writer,
I show up,
Amos-
Tom.
Amos, not Amos Oz, maybe it was, said that writing is you're a shopkeeper.
Yeah.
Just go sit at the desk. Don't beat yourself up. So what if nothing happens and you just sit there and you end up doing whatever? That's what happened today.
Yeah, I know. I wrote today. I had the script that's been due. I wrote it, and then they wanted a different version, so I've been waiting and waiting. And I sat there at my desk, and no lie, there were times where I was just staring out the window for 20 minutes, being like, how does this scene work? How does it work? And then I would go, Jesus Christ. And then I would sit, and I would just like, just get it. It literally would be like, and then I'm like, oh, there it is. There it is. And finally got it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. You don't, it's the beating up, it's the beating yourself up during the process. That's the thing that I had to get over.
Yeah.
Once I got over that and realized it's no beating ourselves up. It's all going to be garbage. And then we'll go back and fix it.
I'm better at drafts. The book thing, man, forget it. The book thing.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, I bet. It's a cool I always like the idea of like, I've wanted to do zines. You know what a zine is? I've been wanting to do those where I just take one topic. I take one item, one thing, and then do a zine on it with interviews, recipes. You know, my bread recipe clearly should be in there.
Right,
people would really thrive off that.
Absolutely.
And
showing people that bread is not always what you think it is.
Or what it needs to be. And if some snooty, judgmental guy that you bring bread, you know what I mean?
If he still eats it, it shows he's a good guy.
Exactly what I was going to say, yeah. But I love that meeting. I just love the idea of written word versus like experience word, you know, like stand-up, movies, scripts, TV,
Yeah, because how long have you been stand-up?
2001 I started, 22 years.
22 years, yeah. And then you start to, it's great, and you love doing it, and you're very good at it, but then it's nice to throw another pitch once in a while.
Yeah, for sure. Totally.
Know?
You can't live on that change up forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like change it up a bit and also be going for something different, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I heard you say, like I got into comedy to make people laugh, which is such a real thing. And some people say, you know, they want you to think or they want you to feel something or whatever. Well, that's all good. But for comedy, you want them to laugh.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you walk in there and it's Jay's comedy show and everyone's just sitting there thinking in silence, they're not going to come back.
No, for sure.
You really want them to laugh.
Yeah. But that statement for me was more along the lines of like,
messing with people.
No, I had a tough time. I've always had a tough time accepting the business side of stand-up. Like literally, I only ever wanted to make people laugh. I never looked at stand-up like, oh, how am I going to make money off this? Or how am I going to do this? I just wanted to, I'm like, oh, I like making people laugh.
Yeah.
And then there's so much more that comes with it once you get past just making people laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. A little connector to another Massachusetts comedy guy, Stephen Wright.
Oh, yeah.
I remember talking to Stephen Wright once, and he thought comedy was The Tonight Show.
Yeah.
That you write the jokes, and then you go on The Tonight Show, and that's it.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize this touring thing, and like going to catch a flight and be in a strange hotel in a strange place. He was like, what is this?
I know. I was just doing that this weekend. Just this weekend, I was in the hotel. Like every time I go out there, it seems different. And I was in the hotel and I'm like, couldn't fall asleep. And I had the slider open because I had this great balcony and this crazy nightmare. Like didn't even scare me. It just was interesting. And then I just woke up and I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, I'm not home. I got to shut this slider. I just want to sleep with the door open. But this is clearly giving me the nightmare. You know what I mean? And then to get back to sleep in a different time zone, to wake up later and figure out where I'm going to go that day because I want to have experiences, but I don't want to experience anything. You know, that whole it's a wild world out there.
It is
on the road.
It is. I know the crapshoot of whether you're going to sleep or not is such a big part of it. I had an intense dream just at the end of my sleep. My wife got up to work out or something, and then I had just in like the last 2 hours, just one of those where it's like when you pop out and it's just so present. It's so real. I was in New York sitting outside, and someone from like the mayor's office was there, and we were talking about why the city isn't coming back
Mm-hmm.
and why people aren't coming back into the offices and what that's going to do to the city. And then this woman was there. She had very white skin, and she was talking about how she just know at a certain age, even though you want to flirt and you want to experience that part of your life, that it's over, and it's over before you want it to be over. And she was just kind of like really intently but whimsically talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like a deep conversation. All this stuff was happening, and I just popped up. I was like, whew. I mean, here we are like 12 hours later, and I'm still reeling out.
I know.
Do you think that what do you think's happening when you dream?
I don't know. There's such a weird thing about it. It's like this story that your brain, I mean, I think it's I guess it's all inside your own brain. Your brain's just thinking. Do you meditate?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do TM?
Mm-hmm.
So I do TM too. And so like my whole thing for TM is what I remember it to be, at least I thought when I was taught, is like it's giving your brain a chance to just think whatever it wants to do.
Yeah.
And that's like such a freedom I have every day when I meditate, is to let my brain think.
Yeah.
So I imagine sometimes when I'm having dreams, it's, I think it's some sort of connection to my brain doing its own thing. I also, which by the way, so I know you have kids older than mine. Mine are 9 and 7.
Right.
And like 2 years ago, we're driving and my son goes, "Dad, what am I going to," oh no, that was a different story. Something came up where my son wasn't feeling good about a thought he was having, or he was having these thoughts. And I just, no one ever told me this, and I didn't learn it until later in life, but I was like, guys, let me tell you something right now. I'm like, your brain is separate from you. Your brain is its own thing. It has its own thoughts. It has its own ideas. You're responsible for your actions. Your brain can think whatever it wants. That's
Nice.
not on you. That's not your responsibility to own whatever your brain is thinking. And they were like, okay. And it's crazy how kids, no matter how old, have the ability to just accept what you're saying. There's there's no filtering going on.
Yeah.
There's no like voice doubting it or saying he's crazy. They're just like, got it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, that's what it is.
And it clocked.
It just clocked, man.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think about dreams?
I'm not sure. I feel, so much. Like, there is sometimes I dream things and see them the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that? Like, I'll dream very vividly of a rake with a green handle. And then for some reason I wake up and it's clear in my head. That's part of what's clear.
I love that.
And I'll quietly just wait for it during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And not all the time, but a lot of times you'll see it.
It's the best. Do you find that? See, I'm not like a big coincidence guy.
Yeah.
Like when giant coincidence happen, like if I was in New York on a subway and ran into a girl I went to high school with, and someone had mentioned her 2 days before, and I saw her and she's like, "Oh my God, I just talked to so-and-so." I'd be like, totally.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be like, "This isn't crazy to you?" And I'd be like, "No, it's exactly where we're supposed to be."
Mm-hmm.
So when you say that, I believe, and I was saying this to a friend today, I'm like, yo, I know stuff, my friend's going through a tough time. I go, I know it's a tough time, but whatever's happening is exactly what's supposed to be happening. And that's just it.
Yeah.
The more you accept what's happening, knowing that you just roll with it and stop trying to think that you have control over it is, I think, where the win happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But what is that? What is that it's supposed to happen? What is that?
I don't know. I used to have this philosophy that you wrote your life before you ever became a human. And then the key was to just allow yourself to just be and let life find you. That's what I said to my son one day. He goes, what's going to happen in my life? And I go, the only thing you have to worry about is be kind, be honest, work hard, have fun. And I go, if you do those 4 things, your life will just unfold in front of you instead of you trying to figure everything out.
Yeah, yeah.
And he and the same thing. They go, okay.
Right.
I was like,
got it.
okay.
Now let me tell you about Santa Claus. Got it.
Sorry to let you down.
Got it. So there's the seeing stuff.
Yeah.
And I bring that one up first because there is also the brain just downloading and working stuff out. And some of that stuff was on my mind. Part of that dream also, I was somewhere, and there was a portable Peloton that didn't have the bike, but it had the other part to it in some weird way. And I was with Whitney Cummings, and we were talking about using that. And I'm going to be seeing her this weekend. So, and I was just on the Peloton. And so there's stuff that your brain is just working through, just those thoughts, those TM thoughts. So there's just that. And then there's times when it's your emotions are at play, influencing it as well, where I'll have like a recurring dream of like water rising, kind of a thing. Like that happens sometimes when in different forms, but when I'm under a lot of pressure for deadlines or that kind of a thing, I'll get like those symbolically seem accurate, you know, like you can kind of see those. So I feel like your brain is doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it is doing all of those things, but is there a commonality that's outside of our brain that we're tapping? Like, is there something in our
there's
subconscious?
Well, there's a collective conscious, for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
That-
I mean, I don't want to get too heavy, but I used to have this. I had this vision once of a like sphere of little spheres ripping around, almost looking like an atom. You know what I mean? And all these little things, energy sources. And then when a baby is formed or a baby's born, each one just goes inside and like takes on like, you know, this thing. And then you live. When you die, that goes back to the collective conscience, and it's just all. So we're all. I don't know.
So what was this? This was a thought or a dream or
It was a vision, I would say.
a vision?
I think you put yourself in a weird category when you tell people like, yeah, I have visions. You know, every now and then I
Were
have
you
a
on
vision.
mushrooms?
No,
No?
No.
Just a vision.
yeah,
While meditating or just at this Ralph's?
I don't know. I was buying bread. Yeah, I can't remember when that happened. I can still see it, and I tried to
can.
write it into a thing. Yeah, yeah, but I don't know exactly what it means or anything like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's something, I believe there's something to all of that. I always tend to, faced with anything, and if you're giving me the alternative of this is somewhat mystical and magical, or we're going to stop analyzing it and just put it as coincidence and stick it in the metal file cabinet and close it, I'll definitely tend towards the mystical and magical.
Sure.
Because I just feel that's kind of a something that's real and present.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I like that.
You were delayed coming, so because I live nearby, I had an extra hour, and I just come all the way from Malibu. I mean, I was at a busy day, and I was like, oh, my wife was there, and I was like, I should be talking to her, but I'm going to go take 20. I call it taking 20 because it doesn't there's no like emotional emphasis on meditating. When you say I'm meditating, or it's a different thing. So I just go, I'm taking 20. And then, so I went and took 20, and it's like the day's just starting.
Yeah, that's rad.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? It's just like.
I miss my afternoon meditation all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
That's the one
tough.
I always hit.
I hit the morning one like crazy.
The real thing, and I noticed this because I just corrected it, the 2 is so much more valuable than the 1.
I know. That's what everyone. I know.
It's insanely more. It's insanely more rewarding. Like just that level of walking around without things bothering you. I've got it down to this micro level of just opening up an app and being frustrated that I have to put something else in, or like I hit the wrong button, or I'm spelling something wrong, or like any little technical, or the coffee maker's not work, like any of those little interruptions, those little frictions.
Yeah.
Those were bothering me. And without thinking about it, I just went back to doing 2. And within a couple days, I'm like, oh,
No-brainer.
Of course, all that little shit that's not aggravating anymore.
Yeah, I got to get back on it. I mean, the mornings is when I'm, like this morning, I'm laying there, set my alarm for 6:15, woke up. My son heard it, came in, laid down in my bed, and I'm just laying there with him, and then I just get up. They see me meditate all the time, which I think is the greatest thing in the world. Like, they're like, And the other day, my son was taking a shower, and I'm like, "Yo, are you almost done in there?" And like, I peeked open the curtain, and he's sitting there, crisscross applesauce under the water like this. And I was like, "Bro,
It's like the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
oh, I haven't seen that." I mean, I love Wes Anderson, and that's the only one I haven't.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, with those kids at that
I want
age?
to, but there's smoking in it, right? Doesn't matter.
Oh, they gotta see
Doesn't
it.
matter? Okay,
Oh, they're gonna. It's so good.
I mean, it's a
That's
good.
when my kids saw it at that age.
Okay, dope.
And they just to this day.
All right, done.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
I love.
and there's a little guy and he's meditating.
Oh,
A
really?
little fox.
I gotta
Yeah.
check it out.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a new movie out.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's like loaded. That cast is insane.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. It's like 14 characters, and they're all like Tom Hanks level. Scarlett Johansson. You're just like, how does an actor get work in this town? When you just like, yeah, let me put everyone in this movie.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So what's going on stand-up wise? I was you had something come out recently.
I put a special out, self-produced it, called Sounds Like Bruce.
Sounds like Bruce in
Which is-
23, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Came out like a little over a month ago.
Nice.
Um,
Such a funny story.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah. I love that story.
Yeah.
That's like
So you had told it before the special.
yeah, I did it at the Laugh Argue one day,
Okay.
and I told them, hey, don't like like they used to like just record your sets and put them live, and I was like, hey, don't put that up because I want to use it somewhere.
Yeah.
And then like I'm like driving around one day and someone hits me up, they're like, yo, and I'm like, what? And they're like, that sounds like that wrong number joke is like blowing up. And I go, what? And they go, it's on Laugh Factory. So I call the Laugh Factory. I'm like, hey, I didn't want that story up. And they go, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, it's been up for 25 minutes. It's got 100,000 views. And I was like, all right, leave it. And then
yeah, why not really?
yeah. And then I did it on Conan, and it blew up. Like went to number 1 on Reddit,
Wow.
like in one day. And I didn't even know what Reddit was. My friend called me. He's like, dude, you're number 7 on Reddit. And I'm like, what's that mean? He goes, you're number 4 now. And so I'd had it for so long. And then both those clips went viral. And then people would claim that I was stealing it because one, I'm clean shaven
beard.
and no glasses. One, I have glasses and a beard. And so I was
Stealing
just like,
from each other.
Yeah.
That's so great.
and then like, so I did it on Conan. I don't get paid off of anyone's YouTube.
Sure.
And then on Conan's Facebook, it's got 186 million views, which is that's
For real?
that's like over $200,000.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? I'm not getting paid any of
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, I'd like to own the video. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm like, let me put it on my special so I can have it and it can be mine.
Yeah.
Like, just to give you a slight example, and this isn't a brag at all because I have 15,000 followers on TikTok. I'm not very active. But the hashtag Jay Larson on TikTok is 57 million
Whoa.
because it's been covered so much
wow.
and put out there. And it's just this wild number. And I'm like, I would like to see some sort of return on this joke. You know what I mean?
Well,
So-
you're getting return now because watching it on YouTube, I think there were 4 ads during it.
During just that joke.
Just that joke.
Oh, I got to go in there and
I don't know.
I got to correct that.
I don't know how. I don't know. And it
That's
was
too
2
much.
ads per pop.
Oh, wow.
You could skip out of it, but it was yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good.
It's good and bad. You want people to enjoy this you
Yeah.
know, like I would love to make some money back because I paid for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not at the point where people aren't enjoying it. I need to get in there and
Yeah.
well, thanks for that note.
That's amazing. That's it's a weird thing. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing with stand up is the value that you get out of all those people seeing it is greater than any dollar amount that you see from, but those actually at that number that becomes real money.
Yeah, that's real money. But I get it, you know.
But does that make you or it just shows that, you know, like I have a couple jokes in my new set that are really fun. I'm really enjoying. And there's a real part of me that's like, why not just put them up?
I know.
Like, why do I really want to save this for another year and a half?
Yeah.
You know, but then there is the thing in a year and a half for the next special, say, you know, you want that joke to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, if the numbers, I guess the way to do it maybe is put it up If it blows up, mission accomplished. People see your stand up.
Mm-hmm.
If it's mediocre, take it down
Mm-hmm.
and throw it back in the special.
Yeah, you could do that.
Right?
I mean, no one's gonna know
No one's gonna
unless
know,
people
'cause no
clip
one saw it.
Yeah, unless I mean, it can't do that poorly. But I'm the same. You know what I mean?
It could.
I just worked all new material in Cincinnati, and I had like I'm talking never been done before. A solid 25 minutes that I just did, and 2 jokes were like crushing every time, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, should I just put this joke out? It's not going to get any better. It's
Right.
just like a setup punchline,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, or do I hold it? I don't really know, but I hear you on that front.
Yeah, because I mean that's what people have built their careers, had a big bump in their career just from doing crowd work and posting it on social media.
Yeah,
And it's like, does it all have to be crowd work? No. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna always come up with new jokes in your angry writing sessions.
staring out the window blindly.
Yeah.
Of course.
It is an interesting time. Like, you know,
I love
there
crowd
should be
work.
some
Though.
combination of it.
I think crowd work is one of the most beautiful aspects of stand-up that gets lost in specials.
Yeah.
Because crowd work, like the idea of going to live stand-up is this thing that happens, and it only happens at that show that you're at, and you're in the middle of it. And if you
Yeah.
can find a way to do it that's not generic and can tie into what you want to talk about,
Yeah.
is the greatest thing that can happen.
It's the greatest. I do have to say I get a little frustrated when it's all anyone wants to talk about after the show.
Is crowd work or why you
What
didn't
you
do
did.
It?
Like
oh yeah,
that thing with Gary, the plumber with the
yeah.
weird dog. Oh my God. And you're like, well, yeah, I know. But what about the
What about that stuff
55
I worked at for so
minutes
long?
of insightful comedy that,
Yeah,
yeah. But, oh, Gary, and he had that dog. Who knew?
I know. That's
There
cra-
is a little bit of that,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, you put so much work and effort and time into it.
Yeah. But it's not the magic trick that other part is.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's kind of like what the magic trick of comedy is to make it
making it
seem like, right, that
of
it's all coming off
course.
the top of your head. So maybe that's a lesson in trying to make all the rest of it seem.
Yeah. Well, that's what
More
I always.
alive.
Yeah. Well, that's what keeps it alive for me. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, how does this feel like I'm doing it for the first time, and how's this? You
Yeah.
know, that's the other thing is like we're just manipulators at the end of the day. We're just manipulating people for a living. That's what we do. We're trying to manipulate the way you see things, what you're going to bite into, and then we're going to pull the string at the right time. We know how you're going to react. We know where we're going to look, how we're going to stand. There's something
Yeah.
rad about doing that live on the cuff. You know what I mean? It's
In the moment.
yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, if you're a lawyer and you're working a case
Yeah.
and you're like on trial and you're going down this road with who's the person that's testifying?
With the defendant.
Yeah, whoever it is that's on the stand,
Yeah.
and it doesn't go the way you want, and then you just have to keep talking to wind them back to something to then get them.
Right,
you know?
right.
That's why we all loved A Few Good Men. You know what I mean? He went for it.
Right. 9 and 7 are such good ages.
Yeah,
That is really prime time.
we have a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
In my act, my kids were 9 and 6 for a long time because it was such a perfect
Yeah, yeah.
thing.
What were your kids into at 9 and 6? 2 girls, right?
2 girls.
Yeah.
Just having fun, being themselves, going to school, running around their pajamas,
That's awesome.
sleepovers, playing in the pool. Yeah, all that. It was just,
Yeah. Yeah.
such an innocent time.
Yeah.
Such a fun, but they're fun. Like you could also sit in a diner with them and have conversations.
Yeah.
That's just the best.
Yeah.
Like really talk about stuff, like
Sure. Yeah.
that part was just like that emergence of the people
Yeah.
wrapped in that cute package still
Yeah.
is pretty great.
We have great conversations.
Yeah.
I just built them a treehouse. And you know what I'm finding is so much of my fatherhood is doing things that I wish had been there for me when I was a kid. And they like it and everything, but I made this rad treehouse.
Really?
Like, Falling Water? Do you know that Frank Lloyd Wright home?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying but I built it in the vein of Falling
You
Water.
did?
Yeah. And I'll show you a pic.
Yeah.
And like now, like the first time they went in, my daughter was like, "Are you gonna put a dumbwaiter in?" I'm like, "Yeah, the dumbwaiter's coming. Okay, it's gonna get there. I just don't have
Does it leak like Frank Lloyd Wright homes?
No, no. I mean, I don't
It's
know.
legendary for his leaking.
It hasn't rained yet.
You just did this?
Yeah,
Whoa.
like a week and a half ago.
Wow. Nice job.
Thanks. And so like, you take like
Holy cow.
you take I put rock climbing holds on the tree to get up to like each level, and we put in a dumbwaiter. I'm going to build a roof.
Wow.
And I got a slide ordered that's going to like come out of the tree on the other side and go into like the bushes so you can't see it.
Nice.
So it's rad. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, a roof would be good.
Yeah, just for
Just to hide.
Well, I got to build a wall to protect the neighbors because it's like kind of invasive. And we were up there and the neighbor's like right there. And I go, hey, man, I'm just going to ask you one time. And he goes, what? And I go, if this is too much, tell me and I'll build a wall. And he goes, yeah, if you could. And I'm like, done. Because I want them to enjoy, they love my kids, but I wanted to
Yeah.
So.
Where's the wall going to go? Like on one side of it?
On the back, like I'm just going to go up and then over to connect the two of them. And then my son wants me to put in a bookshelf. He's like a crazy reader.
Oh, yeah?
I'll put that in. I'm going to make a little area for my daughter to paint. She like takes her painting supplies up there and paints.
Oh, my God.
So I want to like build it. So like I'm going to put a little tabletop in so like they can sit and look out across the neighborhood just eating up there.
Oh, it's the best.
The dumbwaiter's in. Have their
Now, what do
lunch.
you mean your dad wouldn't do this for you?
He wasn't there. My dad left when I was real young.
He did?
Yeah, so like he left. They split when I was 2, and then by the time I was like 9, we just didn't see him anymore. Yeah, so like there was none of that going on.
Right.
I never spent a night in a home with him.
Wow.
Yeah, so that I can remember. Like they divorced when I was 2, so there must have been nights, but never. Like he never had any custody. We never slept.
Wow. Never saw him.
No.
Wow.
We'd see him very rarely, like at the bakery, or go work in the antique store with him.
Right.
Go bowling once in a while.
Right.
McDonald's.
What do you?
Candlepin. Did you have candlepin bowling when you were a kid?
No.
Just Massachusetts. It's like Massachusetts, Connecticut are the only 2 states.
Now that you are a dad,
Yeah.
what do you think? Who was that guy?
I connected with him way later in life, and I just was like, yeah, he just didn't have he didn't have I just don't think his life turned the way he wanted it to. I think he wanted to be a dad. I think he wanted to have a family. I think he and my mom had like a really stressed relationship. So eventually I just got to the point where I'm like, oh, I felt bad. I'm like, oh, I feel bad that he missed out on all this. Like, I think he would have enjoyed us. We were like really cool kids.
Right.
My sisters are cool. My brother's cool.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like looked at it from that point. Like I talked to him like.
Was he young?
They were really young.
Yeah.
They had my sister, the oldest, when they were like 20 and 21, and they were divorced at 27.
Right.
With 4 kids.
Whoa.
And then like I'm divorced. So I look at it and I'm like, I have 50% custody, but he didn't have any custody and then was paying child support and paying all that. And I'm just like, man, that must have felt like trying to like climb a mountain just to be able to afford to exist.
Yeah.
And then at some point, the resentment must grow huge towards the kids, having to see my mom, whatever it was.
Right, yeah.
So I just was like, what's the point? Like I talk to my kids about my dad and like I call him Normie to them and they're like, oh yeah, Normie.
Right.
And I just don't talk negative. I just share like highlights of what I knew about him, but they know the whole story.
Right, yeah.
Because it's, what can you do?
God, it's such a strange thing. I used to think that when kids are involved, like it's going to supersede everything. Like whatever aggravation you have, yeah, but you got kids, or like someone's into drinking or drugs or whatever their thing is, whatever their trouble is. But if you got kids, that'll be the thing that will right the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes the life's problems are so big you don't even see those faces. You really there's got to be a part, but it's so big.
Yeah.
That you've seen it all the time where it's just like, that was just too much. It's not that thing.
Yeah.
But like you're with your kids and you're creating those tree houses and stuff. Like the idea of like, I know we don't know each other that well. Mm-hmm. I know for a fact if comedy got rough and it meant to take care of your kids, you had to go work for a guy in a bakery.
Oh yeah.
Making your
I would
flatbreads.
never. Yeah, I would never.
You would go do it.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I would do anything for them. I mean, they're
Yeah.
and I think people just misunderstand the idea of like what parents really need to do. All you really need to do is just be around.
That's it.
Let them be seen and heard. Like
Yep.
we're going to Yosemite camping this weekend, and we're going to leave tomorrow afternoon. And my daughter has this little cultural dance ceremony at Friday, and she's going to miss it. And I was podcasting before, and she came in, and she's like, to pick up a bag. She was with her mom, and she came in, and she goes, Dad, you know, I'm going to miss the cultural dance. I go, I know, buddy. She's like, yeah, I'm kind of bummed about it. And I go, I know. Can we talk about it later? And she's like, yeah. So I texted her mom, and I'm like, just let River know that if we do the dance, we can't go camping. And she goes, no, she knows that. She goes, she's stoked to camp. She wants, my kids love camping.
Oh, that's good.
And she goes, I think she just wants you to hear the fact that she's going to miss it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And then I'm like, this is what I always think when it comes to my kids. I'm like, all right, well, what can I do for her so that she knows that I recognize it? And so you know what I did? I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do is I'm going to email her teacher and say, can you tell me the song and give it to me so then I can get the song? And then when we go camping, I'm going to bring it. And then we're like, show me your dance. And we'll do the dance in Yosemite to the music.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were going to get cats, and I can't get cats because of my lease. And I had to break the news to them, and she was so upset. And I just was like, so listen, what I think we should start doing is every 2 weeks, we'll go to the cat cafe. Let's just go to the cat cafe and hang with cats.
Yeah.
And she just immediately was like, oh, you get me.
Yeah.
You get that I'm upset, and you're finding
Yeah.
a way for me to still have a loving and caring, like an experience that I want to have. And they're going to always accept the bad news.
100%.
They just want you to recognize their feelings.
Yeah. You don't even have to go as far as fixing it.
No,
like,
they
even
don't
if you
want
didn't go
fixed.
even if you didn't go to the cat cafe, even if you just were like, I know,
totally,
it sucks, and just like that part, which I kind of like. My kids are now on the way out, and I could have been better of the house to go to college.
Yeah,
and I didn't really learn it until recently. They just want you to, when they're like, oh, that teacher is the worst, and she just does all this stuff, and they're saying something that sounds like totally rational, and seems like maybe you didn't do the work or whatever. They don't want to hear challenges and peppers and defending the teacher. They just want you to go, she sounds like the worst. Why would she do that? Seriously, why would she? And that connection, all that, just that, matching their emotional thing, just like you said, like they want to be heard.
Yeah. And then once you do that, then you can open up the door for the other stuff if you wanted to, you know.
For most of the time, I would be like, just, you know, she's probably going through something. Just do the work. Are you sure you weren't rolling your eye? Just go in there. And I was trying to like fix it.
Yeah.
It's not really what they're after.
Yeah.
And you know that's not what they're after when they just kind of walk out the room.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, totally.
And they just slowly go to the other room.
Yeah.
Yosemite is one of my favorite places on the planet.
Oh, really?
Oof.
I've never been.
What?
Yeah.
Oof.
I'm pretty stoked.
Man. And you love camping.
Yeah, we did, you know, we do like Leo Carrillo. We do Ojai. We've done Buellton. Joshua Tree. This is our first time in Yosemite.
It's good.
I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah. It's like Joshua Tree, just massive to the sky.
I know. I can't wait. I was saying I call my friend, I'm like, I can't, because I was in Cincinnati and then I had this writing deadline. I've been kind of overwhelmed, and we were going to leave tomorrow morning, like at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I need more time, so we're going to leave at 2 so I can get the day to, like, you know, I have to like buy the food and pack the car and all that. And I was like debating canceling the whole thing. And my boy was like, I go, is this like you look around and you can like picture dinosaurs? He goes, yes, it's prehistoric. You're going to look at it and you're not going to believe the stuff you see.
It's breathtaking.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'm not canceling. And then he goes, also, the camping season there is like June to October. It's like so short, and those sites are so hard to get. So I'm like, all right, done.
Oh, my God. I went through there first time in college with a buddy of mine, and we just got backpacks. I had no idea what we were doing.
Oh, wow.
And just got a backcountry pass for a week.
No way.
And there's like, he had like an army duffel bag that he was carrying his stuff in. And like totally unprepared. There's a picture of us. We stopped at the store to get some food to bring up to the site, which is like 5 miles through the woods up a mountain. And I'm carrying a brown bag filled with groceries. And he's carrying his duffel bag. And I got this bad backpack that's just like killing my shoulders. But that was our first time ever like learning how to do any of it.
Yeah.
Meant nothing. Like the place, even at its smallest, it's the most grand thing you've ever seen.
I love it.
The pine cones are amazing. The air is amazing.
Okay,
The
great.
creeks. I mean, it's just you're gonna be blown away.
I love that.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. How many nights?
We'll be there 3 nights.
Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, my kid, like, it's crazy when you get kids out and they camp, like, especially now with technology.
Yeah.
You just get them out there and they're like, they just wake up and they leave the tent and they just go. And
Yeah.
it's like, doesn't matter where they go.
Yeah.
We were hiking JT and we were on this hike and there was this like college kids hiking and I talk to everybody. It's my thing. So we're talking, and then my son's talking too. And he's not like trying to make jokes. He's just saying things that are funny. And they laughed a couple times and I noticed it. I'm like, oh, that's cool that like he's funny.
Yeah.
And then we keep walking and there's this cave and like all the college kids go towards the cave and my son goes, hey, I'm going to go to the cave. And I go, yeah, go for it. I'll meet you over here. So I wait about 10 minutes. He finally comes out and then it's just me and him walking and like all of our friends are down another way. And he goes, hey Dad, those college kids, they're pretty cool. And I'm like, yeah, they were pretty cool. He goes, yeah, they laughed at a couple things, that I'd said. I go, yeah, I noticed that. That feel good when they laughed? He goes, yeah. I go, such a unique talent, buddy, you have to make people laugh. That's a real cool skill to have. And he goes, yeah, I like to make people laugh too, Dad. And I was like, God damn. Like,
Credits roll.
yeah, totally. But just,
The John
those
Denver song plays.
those moments, you have
Yeah.
them when you're like, out there. It's great.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good. I made the mistake of scaring my kids about camping when I told a story about one of my guys to do backcountry all the time. And
You did?
yeah. And we were in Alaska, like seeing a bear
Damn.
that came through, and I told the story, and that was it. My kids were like, all right, we're not going to do that.
Wow.
I was like, come on, let's go camping. They're like, no.
You know how that happened to us? We were in our tents in Ojai
Yeah.
at Wheeler Gorge, and I was still awake, and then I hear the people at the campsite next to us going, get out of here.
Oh, no.
Get out of here. And I sit up, and there's the bear, like 10 feet from my tent. And I'm going, get out of here. My son sits up and he goes, what is it? I go, look at the bear, buddy. And he's going, hey, get out of here. And I'd had the window open in the tent.
Yeah.
And the bear just like slumbered away,
Yeah.
And then like we joke because then my daughter leaned up and she's like, what's going on? And we're like, you just missed the bear. And she to this day says, I saw the bear too. And we're like, River. She's like, I saw it. And we're like, okay, you saw it.
We saw, just give a short version of it. The whole thing is don't run when you're hiking. When you see a bear, just freeze, make noise, make yourself big, make sure it gets out of the way, but do not run. And it was like 6 of us, and all but 2 of us just took off.
Oh, I bet, man.
And we're like, oh, we're like in the middle of it. But this thing was so fat in Alaska. It was like right before they were going to hibernate.
Oh, yeah.
It was dusty and fat and just trying to get the last berries at the bottom of the mountain. It was just like, woof, woof. It had no interest in us.
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
But close.
Yeah.
Like really close. Yeah, those are intense.
Have you ever seen that video went viral about that guy was hiking and he came across the mountain lion, the mom,
Yeah,
and it came at him?
yeah.
That video is just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I would lose my, it was like batting
And fast.
Woo, so fast.
I know.
That is just so scary. And then when
Yeah.
the Revenant did that bear scene,
Oh, that
Bro.
massive. What about that documentary of the guy in, was it Bear?
I don't know.
You never heard that
No.
one? You remember that one, Joey? The what was his name? Something Bear. Documentary about a guy who wanted to like live with the bears
Oh God.
naively, and in this like part of Kodiak, I think in Alaska, and he's not acting the right way.
Mhm.
He's very like, they love me, and trying to like pull off a Jane Goodall without any of the skill.
Yeah.
And the end of it is an audio tape of the bear chomping on his skull.
God.
Yeah. It's like Bear Man or something like that.
I don't even know if I can handle that. All I remember, do you remember Reader's Digest?
Yeah.
So my nanny used to get Reader's Digest, and I remember being in her house, and I always used to love, they had every magazine had a drama in real life.
Uh-huh.
And I read one about a bear attack, and the guy talked about how when it clawed his back, he could hear it go down each like bone of his spine.
Ah. This is horrible discussion, by the way, when you're on your way to Yosemite.
I'm not worried at all. The way I always face it is I have a hatchet with me, and if it ever got that close, I'd have at least like 1 or 2 shots at it, you know?
Do you keep bear spray?
No.
Mm.
But I mean, maybe they sell it there. You know, the place we're at has like a store like near the campsites.
There's a beautiful inn there.
I've heard.
Google's so funny. You just type in bear doc and it fills out Mentory guy dies.
It fills it in for you. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Treadwell, his girlfriend Annie were killed and almost eaten by a 28-year-old male bear. Ooh, who was later found to contain human remains. Yeah, but what was the name of it? Grizzly Man. Grizzly Man. That doc is
good.
Yeah, it's just like they just like being around me. They're so cute. It's like,
no,
dude, the first time you see him, you're like, oh, you're getting eaten.
Yeah.
You got it. I haven't heard anything about this film, but you're not making it to the end.
God. How long was he out there?
Like all during like the hungry season.
But
Like
I mean,
for like a year.
Oh, wow. So he survived a year.
I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Grizzly Man.
No.
What can the people, how can the people keep track of you?
On social media, Jay Larson Comedy is on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook,
Groovy.
YouTube.
Nice. And now you've got this special, it's out.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going around the country amassing more material.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Are
doing
you-
some tour dates. I'm in Boston at Laugh Boston and out on Cape Cod on June
nice.
29th in Cape Cod, 30th in Boston, July 1st in Boston, then the 14th and 15th in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Cool.
And then August 1st and 2nd in San Diego at Grand Comedy Club.
That sounds like a nice summer balance.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm taking the kids for that trip to Boston. We're going for 12 days.
Whoa.
I'm going to take them to like where I was a kid.
Right.
Like where all the stuff we did during summer vacation with my elementary school best friend and his kids. And he used to come on our family vacations, and I used to go on his. He's got a house in New Hampshire now, so we're going to go up there and take the kids to like all the places we would go.
Did you go to Cape Cod a lot?
No, we were a New Hampshire family.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you?
A couple times.
Yeah.
But I remember it being like pretty magical.
I mean, in college, my friends and I, 10 of us would rent a house for a week.
Oh, yeah.
10 guys in a 3-bedroom.
Right.
And it was pretty awesome. It's like
Yeah.
beautiful out there. But
Yeah.
I'm a freshwater guy. Give me a lake and a river and
Yeah.
a gorge,
Yeah.
you know, and that's
Yeah.
where I'm at.
Ooh, I wonder if you'll jump in the water in Yosemite. It's going to be cold.
It's going to be freezing.
Yeah.
The high is 53 while we're there.
Really?
Low is 35.
Oh.
So it's going to be cold.
This is going to be great, though. Oh,
And I
I'm
told the
envious.
kids, I'm like, just so you know, it's going to be cold. Like sweatpants, sweatshirts every day. Like, and they're like, okay.
Are you going to pack some of your bread?
Yeah, of course. Everyone's going to want that bread. I think it's good. My kids ate half of
No,
it.
you're leaving tomorrow, so bring that bread with you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I will.
Bring that with you.
I mean, if it survives, I might do a little avocado, goat cheese, lemon juice, and salt on it when I get home.
Oh, nice. Good job.
Yeah, that's my
I'm
play.
going to do the same with yours.
Unbelievable.
I'm glad this finally worked out.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for
Yeah.
having me. I appreciate it.
Come back many times.
Cool.
All right.
I'll bring a new bread next time.
All right. And I'll bring alcohol.
Yeah. Done.
All right, good. We got it, Joey. There you have it, kids. Jay Larson. Right? Go check out his special. They Call Me Bruce. Call Me Bruce is on YouTube right now. He's very funny. Check it out. You're going to enjoy it. Thank you to nuts.com. Thank you to all of you for purchasing. I know you stopped the podcast and purchased. We're all in this together, so make some room. Audiobook is probably, it is, I can tell from just the feedback we're getting on social media. People are enjoying the audiobook, which is really weird because it's narrated by Colin Quinn. No, I'm only kidding. I, of course, ought to do it. A big thank you to Colin Quinn for last week at the 92nd Street Y. We had a great book event, and Colin was the best. And a big thank you to Rainn Wilson, who did the same in L.A. at the Grove. And I hear that went great, too. It's actually tonight, but by the time this airs, it'll be over. Thanks for listening. You guys are the best. We'll see you next time on Breaking Bread